welcome to Our World, a program hosted by African Press International, where we discuss business, political, and social issues that touch on our daily lives. My guests today are Norwegian billionaire Peter Anker Stordalen and his wife, Dr. Gunhild Anker Stordalen. Welcome to our program, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we discuss business issues touching on your hotel enterprise and your charity work, can you tell our viewers why both of you are so committed to environmental issues, the driving force behind this? Any of you can answer.
To start with, I was working with those questions before I met Gunhild, but to be honest, when I met Gunhild, we, so to say, redefined the whole philosophy which we are working on. So today we work on what we call a triple bottom line philosophy. That means it's important to earn money, but it's also important to have a sustainable platform and also to take corporate social responsibility. And Gunhild learned me about why it's so important, why climate change is important. Maybe it's much more important than the financial crisis we have been through from 2008. So it was actually very much due to Gunhild that we changed.
Well, Gunhild, your fight to save the environment has been noticed by influential people, including Nobel laureate, the former US President Al Gore, who invited you to see climate change with your own eyes. Did interacting with him add any value and inspiration to your commitment to environment?
Absolutely. Al Gore has been one of my, he has been a pioneer regarding getting the facts on the table, and I mean, I admire his work, and meeting him, getting to know him, being there in the Antarctica on the expedition with some of the most important and influencing climate scientists in the world, and some other philanthropists were very inspiring for us. I think Al Gore learned me several things. Although his fight has been about getting the truth on the table, it's still not enough, because global emissions are still increasing, and unfortunately, and it shows that we need more than, I mean, his work is so important, but still we need other things. We have to look into science on how we can make people change behavior, because we know what to do, but we are still not doing it. So there's a missing link between knowledge and action.
And to you, Peter, you are a billionaire. You could choose to relax and enjoy your wealth, but instead you are on the move all the time. You are known throughout Scandinavia as an activist, a serious environmentalist, and philanthropist, a man who is very concerned with climate change and renewable energy. Why all the effort? Do you do this for publicity, to add value to your business enterprise, or because you truly believe you are impacting on saving the environment for the future generation?
The short answer is actually, I'm a truly believer, and most of all, I have kids. I have 3 kids. Let's say 20 years from now, they will ask me, "So Papa, why didn't you do anything?" Then I want to have a good answer, and then they can maybe tell me that you had the information, you read the report, you knew what happened, and you didn't do anything.
Yes.
And then I don't think they will be very proud. So I want, and I truly believe that you must start with yourself. I, as a businessman, can start with myself and my company. Together with Gunhild, I think we can make a change. I don't think that we can change the world, just the 2 of us, but we have to do everything we can to do the world a bit better. And if everybody, every businessman, every CEO thinks the same, we will change the world. And since we can't rely on the politicians, because they shall be re-elected, we are not going to be elected. We can do what we believe in. And sitting here in Norway and Sweden, two of the most wealthy countries in the world, then you have a particular responsibility to help, even if the climate change or other crisis doesn't hit Norway very much. It will hit the rest of the world. And the responsibility we have is not only to ourselves or to the Norwegians, it's to the whole world. Because most of the wealth we have in Norway is due to the oil and gas, which is a part of the problem. And I also want to be a part of the solution. That's why. So I'm a hardcore believer.
Thank you for that answer. But I will go here. Finding individuals committed to saving the environment is not difficult. It's very easy to find people who are committed. But finding a married couple who are both committed to the same goal is unusual. I believe our viewers would like to know how you met and whether your interest in championing environmental issues brought you together, resulting also in romance and finally marriage. Which is which?
Okay, I think Gunhild can answer that.
Thank you.
I think Peter can tell the fun story. I can tell the serious one. Of course, sharing our passion for the environment and for sustainable business, I think that's a very, very important anchor in our relationship. And we are fighting the same fights and the same battles. And I think Peter has influenced my engagement in several ways. I was born and grew up in the Norwegian countryside with very idealistic parents, telling me about nature, ecosystems, sustainability, and so on. But they were more on the NGO side. Meeting Peter and learning about business and markets and how the real world function have learned me a lot, and I think businesses will be a very, very important part of the solutions because we have more knowledge today about the future. I mean, resource scarcity, climate change, loss of biodiversity, and for businesses this is actually to consider as inside information, because if you start changing and preparing for what you see are coming.
So I use your interest,
yeah,
environment.
Yeah,
so it's kind of,
you know, it's smart business to be environmental sustainable. It's not, you're not only doing it for the coming generations or the environment itself, but you are actually also making better profit if you are integrating sustainability into your business strategy and a part of the business DNA.
You want to comment on that?
No, just I want to comment on the first part of your question, which was what were the question about how we met and why I fell so much in love with Gunhild. No, actually we met at a party on the south coast of Norway, and then I saw this tall, blonde, beautiful Norwegian girl, and then I thought, oh my God, and then I realized she was not very blonde. She was she was a hard-working medicine student. She was working on her PhD, and later she became a medical doctor, and she had her PhD, and then she had all these views on everything, even on my business, and she instead of like being like, oh, there is, I was at that time quite famous person in Norway, but she was not even interested in the money or the position I had. She just asked all these questions, which for me was hard to answer. And then it took 2 years before I manage to get the first date, because she didn't want to date me. So it was hard work. It's like working with climate change. It's hard work. And then you see, I even had to accept a mini pig, Pia Parma. Yeah. So and then you know, then you are very much in love when you accept to have a mini pig in your bed. But then after the first date, we realized even we were from very different places. I was a businessman, she was a medical doctor. She wanted to work to save lives and to save the planet. And then, but at the same time, we had the same views on the big questions. And then, so I was very much in love, not just because she was beautiful, but she was much more beautiful inside. She had the heart at the right place. And that was why
I suppose she still has.
More than ever. And then, so I proposed because I thought she could be my wife, and she could also be my business partner, and she can teach me a lot about the environmental questions and the sustainability and the necessity of having a new and much more sustainable capitalism.
To you, Gunhild, your commitment to environmental issues has earned you the name Norway's climate doctor. You are part of those organizing yearly Zero Conference in Oslo. Can you tell our viewers about the emergence and successes of Zero Conference so far and why you named it Zero? In brief, please.
Zero, to start with that, because we are working to promote zero emission solutions for a zero emission society and a green economy. And the Zero Conference started 7 years ago as a small group for the very committed climate activists. And Zero is they have a very smart approach. They are working for the things they believe in, and they are not that much focusing on all the things they are against. So they are choosing their battles. And the Zero Conference has been a success. The conference is now the biggest climate conference in Northern Europe, and we have had people like Kofi Annan, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Paushari in the IPCC. A lot of the most influential people in the world have been speaking there, and I think some of the key to success has been that we have managed to build a bridge between the academic people, the politicians, the business society. They are there in their suits on the first row because they see that this information it's influencing their businesses tomorrow, and it's smart to be there, and it's a forecast for what they should invest in, you know, and we have managed to get people together and start talking, and then you have suddenly building the bridge and connecting the dots, and you are able to come up with new solutions.
To you, Peter, how much support and in which way do you give to your wife's involvement to ensure success in her conferences in order to achieve the necessary attention worldwide that in turn may result in countries budgeting enough money for environmental projects? Because many governments, they don't put money in their budget for environment.
And that's a huge part of the problem. But I will put it like this. For me, every company need in the future to put money in their budget to be a much more sustainable company. If you see Unilever today, they have this at the top of their agenda. So when Gunhild started to work, not only with the Zero Emission Conference or all the other initiatives, she also wanted to change the company, the way we, everything from food waste, energy consumption, everything. Then I knew you can't only do this without also having to spend money. We can't fight the climate change with no money. And the richer you are as a person, as a company, or as a country, you more money you have to spend. Sitting in Norway, as I told you before,
Yes.
it's a huge responsibility, particularly for Norway, to help not only Norway and Sweden, but also to help. I don't care if they help the rainforest or if they spend money in Africa, as long as they put it on their budget. This is not like philanthropy. This is about the future of the whole planet. So it's not like something you can say, no, it's easy when the crisis hit you, like in 2008, that you take it out of the budget because it's easy for all the people working with economic questions to say, no, this we can take away.
But the way you are talking now, then it helps me to continue with this next point. There are many wealthy people in Norway who are disengaged in environmental issues. They are not charitable in any way despite their huge wealth. I have in mind those in shipping industry who have been accused of soiling the environment, mostly in the developing countries. What advice do you have for such people?
The cost of the civilization is taxed. Everything is based on that you need to pay taxes, and the rich people need to respect this, because if it's the too big distance between the rich and the poor, they will change the system we have. And if companies and rich private persons doesn't understand that we need to change and everybody need to take part to create a society which take care of everybody, even the people sitting at the end of the table, that's the most important people. And in Norway we have a system for this, a social welfare system, but it is a mini pig.
No problem.
But so I just don't want to talk about all the people doing nothing, because they need to do it in the future. Otherwise, the people will say, they will spread the words via social media and say, don't buy those products.
And that's transparency. But just to comment on that, because I think it's very, very important to tell the success stories. And even though you don't believe in climate change, even though you don't believe in resource scarcity, that we will be 9 billion people that will share all these scarce resources in some decades, you still should do the changes in your company, because it will be beneficial. You will have a better profit, and I think it's important to start talking about it's good for your economy as well.
Being a billionaire family, committed environmentalists, ready to save our planet, do you have a voice in your country's government policies touching on environment? And here I'm thinking about the government, whether they consult you, because you are a billionaire family, you are environmentalist. Do they consult you when they are making the policies, your own government?
The answer is in a way yes and no. I'm sure they'll listen what's happening at the Zero conference. I'm sure they'll listen when Gunhild is working with nudging. I'm sure they'll look up on what the business people are doing and what they are saying. And that's why our voice is important. But on the other hand, they shall be re-elected. So even if they sometimes know this is right, they know if I do it, even if I think it's right, I might not be re-elected. That's the same reason that the most wealthy people in the States have too low taxes. That's the reason, and that's the reason, like many countries, the politicians, they know what to do, but they can't do it because they have to be re-elected.
Let me turn to your wife then, Gunhild. I asked about your government and the policy, and whether they consult you, because your latest study has inspired the UK Prime Minister David Cameron, leading him to initiate the same study on energy efficiency in his country. What is your reaction to the fact that your work has inspired a world leader in this way?
You know, we are we are delighted to see that the UK, the Prime Minister, and that they are reproducing our results. It's on energy efficiency and indirectly lead to reduced emissions. And I think that's a very inspiring note for us, because we see that the work we are doing is actually leading to concrete results. And we cannot save the world just in Norway. We have to include everyone. And our studies are important the second people are uptaking it and doing it in their countries. And I think the Greg Barker and the energy and the climate department who initiated it, they will be also pioneers and spread it further. And back to the government question, because the climate minister in Norway, he actually invited me in to sit in a smart city development project where nudging, studying and applying research on behavioral change will be part of the long-term strategy to develop more sustainable cities, because that will be a very important part of the solution in the future.
Let us discuss charity now. We are done with environment. You are a charitable family, and some media outlets have stamped you the Melinda and Bill Gates of Norway. What is your comment on this?
That's, Bill and Melinda is like something you look up to. They are like, if I want to have a hero, if I could pick one hero in the business community, that would be Bill and Melinda, because they are trying to do something with their enormous wealth.
Yes.
So if everybody had done like Bill and Melinda, then we could really change the world. And they are not alone, because quite a few people in the States do the same. I think Warren Buffett is doing much of the same, so they are not alone. And it's I think that we are working on a much smaller scale, but
it's not small. It's not
no, but compared to Bill and Melinda Gates.
Uh-huh.
But still, it's always important to have some heroes, to have some people that.
And I think it's very inspiring for other people to see that. I mean, they are doing it in a much bigger scale, but it shows that it is possible to make a change. Although you are not Bill and Melinda Gates, and charity is still philanthropy is still very important, because although you have to rely upon private companies changing and being more sustainable, business has to be part of the solution, government has to be part of the solution, but we still need philanthropy and people doing more than they actually have to, right?
In the past, you have supported many projects, and recently you donated 5 million kroner to the Youth Labour Party group to rebuild Utøya summer camp. That was rammed when Norwegian terrorist Anders Breivik went on a killing spree, murdering over 60 innocent youth at the camp after bombing Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg's office, murdering some employees there. What was the inspiration behind your contribution?
It's a very easy answer. This was not only an attack on the political youth camp. This was an attack on everything I believe in, on the democracy, in everything we believe in Norway. So it was important for us to say we want to rebuild this. Young people should be political active. It was not important for the two of us at all that they were on the other side of what we might believe in. This was an attack of everybody in Norway. So I just wanted to support and say the terrorists can never win.
The camp is mainly used by the Labour Party Youth League,
yeah,
whose mother party the Norwegian Labour Party, led by Prime Minister Stoltenberg, is the government of the day.
Yes.
Don't you think the government should have taken charge of the rebuilding, and most probably your 5 million kroner could have been channeled to by yourselves to other needy projects? Or was it a sympathetic gesture?
This is not, you can't put one thing up against another thing. You have to do both. Democracy and the system we have in Norway is extremely important to me,
Yes.
to the future generation. That's why it was important. Not only the contribution we did, because very many Norwegian companies, very many private persons, normal people working in normal jobs did do contribution, and they did it in sympathy. And most of all, they wanted to show these terrorists that you can and you will never win. We will never answer this attack with like having more policemen in the streets, or here they don't even have their gun in the street. We want this to be, we answer this attack with more love, to be more together. And then, so this was not like something we did, we just wanted to show we are all a part of the same system.
A terrorist can never win.
The voice.
Terrorism will never win, because we are meeting it with.
Being involved in charity and environment is a very good thing. Al Gore, the former US Vice President, and the late Professor Wangari Maathai from Kenya won the Nobel Peace Prize for their environmental involvement. Do you think it is time the Norwegian Nobel Committee noticed their own people like yourselves and to consider honoring the achievements? After all, only 2 Norwegians have ever been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize since its inception many, many years ago. Why don't we hear a Norwegian getting Nobel Peace Prize?
I think it's much more important to give the Peace Prize to Wangari Maathai or people like that, to take out people which try to change the world and start in a small community, because everybody see it's possible. It's possible to change. It's possible to do huge impact, even if you have limited resources. And so I think that it's thousands of people who deserve the Nobel Peace Prize way before any Norwegian. The Nobel Peace Prize should go to people who really fight for the right things, even in difficult times.
Do you have any comment on that?
I think, no, I totally support that view, and I think it's so much more important that Norway as a country look to the rest of the world, because sitting in Norway and doing a lot is good, but sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's like just think about one man, Nelson Mandela. He fighted the whole apartheid from a prison for 18 years, and he actually, sitting in a prison, made like the whole apartheid system literally collapsed.
Yes.
One man,
Without weapons.
no weapons,
Yes.
and he changed it together, black or white.
And I think that's some of the best things with the Nobel Peace Prize. You should list from new voices that we haven't heard from before. And there's so many important things going on in the world, in other countries than Norway. And part of the point with that prize is to lift from and show the world these people spending their life.
Now that you agree together now that it's good to notice the others outside Norway, do you think the right candidate won the Nobel Peace Prize last year, 2012? I am talking about the award to the European Union. During my recent interview with former Prime Minister Kjell Magne Bondevik, he told me there were other more worthy candidates, although he, however, agrees that it was okay for European Union to get it.
I would just answer shortly on that. The basic philosophy for the ground framework for the European Union was peace and brotherhood. So I think there's absolutely good arguments for giving the Nobel Peace Prize to the European Union. The timing is more, controversial, but I think we are not those being in place to comment further on it. But the ground philosophy was right.
Let us now turn to our final subject. Let us discuss business. Peter, you are one of the most prominent hoteliers with over 170 hotels. You just told us during the briefing today. Your properties reflect your views on sustainability. Today's focus in this interview is your new hotel by the name The Thief. Why sustainability and why the name The Thief? People can misunderstand The Thief.
Oh, The Thief is due to the history. This, where we are sitting right now, was the island of the thieves, the prostitutes, the robbers.
That's
Right,
serious.
yeah, right where we are sitting now. It was the last man hanged and stabbed in Norway. So this island was like the island of the thieves. So, and I think history is extremely important. So today, this is the place where you have all the bankiers.
I'm just surprised.
Yeah, no. This is the true story.
Yes, but
So-
that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised.
So why like open a first class hotel and name it The Thief? Because you must never forget where you come from. And I think going 150 years back in time, you would never believe that this right the place the hotel is located was the worst place you can imagine, and today it's the most valuable land, the most expensive places to live in all over Norway. So we wanted to say something about where we are coming from, what this was in the past, and so that's we name it The Thief. It's like storytelling. So
And then I can comment on the sustainability part, because it's not only because we personally believe in the environmental aspects, but it's also because our guests tomorrow they will choose other hotels if we are not sustainable. Because transparency, the globalization, people knows everything about their suppliers, and they want to know what have been offered, who has been suffering to make these products. Are they concerned about energy efficiency, food waste? Do they care about their carbon footprints? And tomorrow the guests will choose the greenest and the most sustainable operators in the market.
The Thief Hotel, situated in the most expensive area of Oslo, Tjuvholmen, is very luxurious. I've seen one of the rooms, having a price tag, I think tuning to millions, because I was not even able to find the light. But I discovered later, you press one light, it lights everything. And I can say, seemingly with a lot of good quality, it can be characterized as a 6-star hotel, without doubt. To profit from this, what type of customers are you targeting?
But that's the difference between when we open a hotel like this. We want it to be open for everybody. We, so to say, treat guests like rockstar and rockstar like guests.
Yes.
So if you want to come in just to visit the bar, take a beer, or a glass of wine, a glass of water, or you want to eat in the restaurant, we are happy.
Without sleeping in the hotel?
No. It should be totally open
Okay.
to the whole community. If you just want to go here just to sit down, look at the art, it's okay. Even if you don't buy even a cup of coffee, because it's a part of the philosophy. Hotel should be a part of the society. It should be totally open for everybody. And then the more people, the more success. If you start to think with your calculator that you only want to gather the rich people or those people, I don't think it will be a successful hotel.
Gunhild, you have been quoted saying you have standards that you want to initiate in all Nordic choice hotels. Tell us a little bit about the no scampi, limited meat courses, no palm oil, and other limitations in the Thief Hotels restaurant as focused on your hotel promotion.
This is about food, and it's about we haven't launched it externally yet, so I cannot tell all the framework we are working on now. But food is very, very important, just not only for health, but also for the environment. What we put on our plates, how much we waste. I mean, a new report was just recently launched showing that between 30 and 50% of all food produced worldwide is thrown away or wasted in the one or the other way. So it's so much to improve, and as one of the biggest hotel chains in Scandinavia, we have for sure a significant impact what we serve our guests. Not only for,
Hotel Doc Thelma, in your publicity of the hotel, or the Thief Hotel, you focus positively on the presence of Thelma, the dog, calling it Vid, very important dog. Are you following the footsteps of the US presidents who always have a dog named the first dog in the whole of the country, America?
You know, we have a very important pig under the table right now. and Peter's dog is not here today, but he's home.
No, I think it's like you need to be open to everything and new thing and do things differently. And sometimes you do things just because it's fun. And we love dogs. We love mini pigs. So
one big happy family. Everybody
but then some people, this serious now, because some people, owing to their religious beliefs, like Muslims, they are not come close to dogs. How will you manage religious beliefs while having a resident dog all over the hotel lounge? Because I read that is going to be welcoming guests.
Yeah. And that's more marketing than it's true. So the dog will actually be in the office of the general manager. It will not go around.
Not bother guests.
No,
and you have people that has allergies, and so
Yes.
of course we will ensure that it's open for everybody, and religious beliefs should be respected, and they won't need to meet a dog if they don't want to. We will make sure.
We are soon winding up.
Yeah,
you have invested millions of dollars in art for your hotels, in close relationship with important noticeable personalities, such as the gentleman who gave us a briefing today, curator Sune Nurgren, that has resulted in a build-up of one of the world's best Jaume Plensa collections, which include leading works of artists like Vic Muniz, Alex Katz, Franz West, and some of Andy Warhol's best Edward Munch interpretations. You are actually redefining the worn-out term hotel art. Tell the viewers why all the effort.
Because
before you, I really have to go because I have
We have only 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay.
I think that art is important, and art could be both something you look at, it could also be provocative, and I think art and artists is important to the society, and I want this not to be art in a hotel, but an art hotel. So the art is not such a thing like the architect or the interior architect is saying we need this because we need it blue. This art thing is something we want to do, so you can come here just because you want to see the art. And you ask the questions. Why do you have Anthony Gormley facing Mecca outside the door? Why do you have the horse teeth inside?
I have one last question for you, and one last question for you. Finally, to you, Peter, first. You have succeeded in business, but mostly this happens when you are alone running the business. Let us look back just shortly. At 33 years of age, 1996, you left Stenström invest after you fell out with Rimstein, Erik Hagen. At the age of 34, in 1997, you teamed up with Christian Sveos, but he left you barely a year later. At the age of 36, in 1999, after a short stint with Christian Ringnes, due to power struggle, you fell out. Are you a difficult man to work with in partnership? That's my last question to you.
No.
And then I have one before you.
No, no, I don't think so. But some people think that just because they're rich, they think they can do whatever they want. And I don't want it to be like this. And some people, it's just the only thing they have in their head is that the profit should be as big as possible. So some people say, no, you can't invest in environmental question. You can't spend money on the rainforest. You can't build schools in Cambodia or do the thing when we went to Ethiopia together. We can't spend money on this, Peter. And I said, I want, because I want to be a part of the society. I want to talk about social responsibility, and then I have to
So you find it easy deciding?
Very easy. I want to put money on the table. Without money, no change.
I get that point. Now, last one. Gunhild, you have many hats that you wear in addition to your work as a doctor, like being the director of Nordic Choice and Art Design, Home Invest, Nordic Choice and Hospitality, Zero Emission Resource, European Climate Foundation, and the chairperson of the Stordalen Foundation. How do you reconcile all this with family responsibilities?
That was an easy one to end the interview.
She only has a mini pig.
I only have time to taking care of a mini pig, and then I will spend the rest of my time working for a better world, a better society, more human rights, and better health.
We have to end here. Thank you to both of you. I wish you continued success in your commitments in business, environmental issues, and in your relationship. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.